Three, two, one, go.
Okay, so welcome to this episode. It's really special. We wanted to get it in time for 100% optical. That's why I'm in an optical lab, and you might see people coming in and out. That's why Stephen, I twisted his arm to do this. Now, Stephen, I'm not sure you're aware, we only interview really legendary people in optics. We interview people that have done something super special, and
Well,
that's you.
I feel very honored to be here, Gary, and thank you for the invitation. So, yeah, let's start off and see what information I can impart that might be helpful.
Well, it's quite a bit. Like I would love to know how you got into infrared and red light and how you found the benefits of that. Because I bought one of your products and I'm quite amazed with it. But I'd love to hear from you why other opticians should be quite excited about this.
Well, it's quite a long story. I've always been working at the forefront of technology and computing for my whole career, running various companies, and selling them off or just creating new ones. I moved away from PC consulting and internet consulting some 10 years ago and moved into LED lighting when it became commercially viable.
Wow.
After a while, that all sort of got quite tame, and I was looking for a new adventure. And I came across some research done by a very august gentleman by the name of Professor Glenn Jeffrey. He heads up the Institute of Ophthalmology at University College London. And he'd done a study to show that red light can actually benefit the eyes, which I found quite interesting. And I thought at the time, hey, this is something that there could be a great synergy here with what he's doing and my knowledge, because after 10 years, and particularly with a science background, I know pretty much most of what is to be known about LEDs and the technology. So we had a few Zoom meetings. This was during COVID era, so it was all very hands off. And we sort of gelled. And once we were allowed to meet, I went down to London. We sat down at a table. And at the time, he'd used a sort of little LED torch to do the study. And I said, look, that's great. It's produced good results. But it's not really a product that
What results? What results
well,
was he studying? What was he doing?
What he'd found was that the red light can actually stimulate the mitochondria in the retinal cells of your eyes to create more energy. So there's something called ATP. So mitochondria produce ATP. ATP is like the petrol, the fuel that keeps your eyes, or keeps the cells specifically in your eyes, healthy and functional. So if your mitochondria starts to produce less ATP, the cells in your eyes start to have less fuel to run. Therefore, they can start to degrade. They can start to become less efficient. They can become sick. And ultimately, in the extreme, they're going to die off.
And was he studying macular degeneration? Was he looking at drusen? What was he looking at?
The sad fact is that we're all going to lose around 30% of our retinal cells between middle age and age 70. And this is primarily due to the mitochondria becoming less efficient and making your eyes making your eyes become slightly dimmer, as everybody says, your eyes age with dimming. Plus, it can also trigger other eye conditions. So there's a whole risk factor. Eyes are the most energy-hungry organ in your body. So they need energy to be able to survive and function. So this whole ATP production by the mitochondria is absolutely crucial to healthy eyes. So he'd got a very sophisticated test that showed that when somebody had been subjected to the red light, the mitochondria in the eyes actually perked up and produced a positive response. So that's the sort of angle that we were looking at. So I'm saying, right, this is good. Let's get it into something that's commercial and can be used by anybody out there in the marketplace. So I started designing the first product back in 21. It did take a while. I'd never designed a product from scratch before. And there's a few blind alleys, a few false starts, but it took us until summer of 2023 to get a product that I was happy with and stable to get out into the marketplace. So we launched the iPower Red at that point, and it's been selling initially quite slowly, and then sales started to pick up after a year, and now it's sold into over 65 countries around the world. So it has been very successful, at that level.
Wow, what a story. And they're so easy. I try to use mine every morning. So I come downstairs, I switch on the kettle, and I know the kettle is like takes 2-3 minutes. So while it's boiling, that's my routine. Is that enough? With my eyes, because it says in the instructions, eyes closed or open.
Yeah, it's great that you've managed to build it into a routine. And the thing to actually emphasize here is that because of the way the proteins respond in the eyes, you get the best benefit early in the morning. So
wow.
Over breakfast, or even if you sort of wake up early and you like to sort of relax in bed for a little while, just have them on in bed, once you've woken up and you've sort of adjusted to the light. But
what are the
Sorry, go on.
After you. Sorry.
I was going to say, I said 3 minutes every 3 or 4 days is all you need. And the persistence on that, once you've actually had the 3-minute session, it will persist for about 4 or 5 days. So that's why it's good to do it 2-3 times a week, just to make sure you get that overlap, because it does vary from individual to individual.
We don't want to make claims here, but does it help with dry eye and bacteria? And
we produce iPower Red as an eye care device. It's not designed or marketed as a medical device. We know that various groups and interested parties have used it for particular conditions, but that's not what we're aiming at. The goal for our product is to allow anybody from middle age upwards to buy it and to help to maintain the health of their eyes. So it's trying to maintain the status quo. That's our primary goal. So it's almost like buying an insurance product. You buy it, you use it every day in the hope that it's going to stave off the worst.
And your optometrist, if they've got cameras, can actually see if this thing is working or not, and that's the most exciting thing. Jazz, do you have any questions? We brought you along because nutrition is so important, our environment is so important, and we only have one pair of eyes. They're difficult to change. You can't do that. Anything that we can do to keep the health of the eye is important.
Yeah, I guess is there anything you would recommend alongside your product that people do in terms of lifestyle that can help the results?
Absolutely, get outside more. You'll find that things like macular degeneration and a lot of eye conditions are far less common in sunny climates, because what we're trying to do with the iPower Red is actually replace some of the long wavelengths that we're not getting by spending so much time indoors. So, rather than actually having to use any sort of medical, and I won't say medical, but health supplement, any supplemental foods or treatments or therapies, a lot of these conditions can just be solved instantly by getting outside 6 or 7 hours a day and being in daylight. So, it's a common saying, and it's absolutely true. The best healer is sunlight. Getting out in the sun, being in the sun. Sadly, in the northern climates, that's not possible. But that is the perfect answer to a lot of these issues.
And blue light. We talk about blue light coming in the morning. We shouldn't have less in the evening. Do you have any comments on? Because our patients will ask us. They'll say, "But I thought you have blue light in the morning. This is red."
There has been a lot of work, the effect of blue light on circadian rhythms, which is really a completely different branch, and it's a different physiological reaction. Yes, the idea of blue light in the morning, supposedly, and there's still ongoing research to that, and there are products around that will deliver this blue light, not just in the morning, but quite for extensive periods during the day, particularly to overcome seasonally affected depression. So we're talking about different things here. Blue light can actually help to, we're looking at longer sessions. So if you have blue light, it's not just for a short period. You would actually have a blue light device that goes on for a number of hours, probably from early in the morning and then continue on. What we're looking at with the red light is really just a short burst. So it's like giving your eyes a kick. As soon as you're awake, you get your kick in the morning, your eyes are done. If you then want to continue with blue light, you're free to do it. Okay.
And a lot of opticians actually sell lenses blocking blue light.
That is true, because blue light is good to a point, but it also, blue light on its own, which is why there has been a lot of discussion about LED lighting, which has a very strong component of blue light, is starting to gain traction. The problem with short wavelength blue light is that it can be damaging to the eyes unless it's balanced with longer wavelength. So although we get blue light in the sun, a lot of blue light from the sun, that is balanced by all the longer wavelength and the near infrared and the infrared. So it's not doing the same level of damage as it would if we were actually just subjected to blue light, which unfortunately under LED artificial lighting we are.
So you've recently made a tweak. I was waiting quite a long time for my glasses from you, because you said we've just made an enhancement. It's better. What have you done from the version that I have to the version beforehand? What have you tweaked?
There has been and still is a lot of ongoing research into what is best, not just for the eyes, but for the whole body in terms of these longer wavelengths. And there are companies out there who are adding a longer wavelength, primarily in the 850, between the 800 to 900, but most settling on the 850 nanometer wavelength. And I've had discussions with the university about the potential benefits of adding this as well, and they have actually agreed that it would be good to add a small component of 850 nanometers. Wow. So this basically gives slightly deeper penetration into the eyes, so can give a sort of more holistic approach to eye health. So that's our new version will actually have a component of 850 added into it.
As an optician and a healthcare professional, anything we can offer our patients that's going to help that holistic side of things is great. And I just wonder, Stephen, what is your next plan? Because you're involved with so many different things. How, if an optometrist or an optician is watching this, we'll put all the information down below, how you can contact Stephen, how you can get hold of these types of glasses. But tell us just, what is your next plan? You've done a lot of things in your life, and you've achieved a lot.
Well, the next plan.
Yeah.
I think basically watch this space. I think, as I mentioned, I do have quite good involvement with the team up at UCL. They're researching in a number of different areas. I'm very pleased and privileged, and I get great enjoyment from sort of contributing to that as well, just with ideas, suggesting ways we can sort of expand our knowledge in the area, particularly in sort of the longer wavelengths. So, and we are looking to, as I say, to look at how this affects the body and metabolism on a larger scale rather than just the eyes. So yeah, that's the area we're working in. In terms of products, we've got a couple of products on the drawing board that we hope to launch later this year. But yeah, I will keep you up to speed as soon as there's something else ready to test, Garry.
I think you're an incredible human being. We've had a few interactions. I could only do this podcast with you today because the book is going to print. So I'm so pleased that we've done this, and things get lost in translation. If you have anything, one last statement to make to opticians, could you see this in every optician in the country? I certainly can, because America's the big place. In the UK, we haven't quite penetrated. So
Yes, the Americans have really, I mean, America is our biggest market. There is a great awareness there of the various technologies and therapies around that can help reduce aging. They're all paranoid about aging and anything they can do to reduce aging.
they call it biohacking.
Well, absolutely, yes, although that can go to extremes, so I don't like using that particular term. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, it comes under the generic name of biohacking. The UK is a little bit more conservative, but the fact that this, there is evidence, clinical evidence to show that this does actually help produce ATP in mitochondria and therefore help to maintain the health of retinal cells in the eyes, it has to be something that everybody should seriously consider. Particularly,
And for the more,
it's a relatively low cost and it's not going to
very
impact
much.
upon your life in a big way.
For the skeptical out there, do you mind sending me links to some of the studies so then people can read on? This can be something that they can look into.
Yes, by all means. Yeah, we will follow that up, Garry.
I hope you've enjoyed this. This is certainly a very unusual podcast today. And I have to thank Stephen. I have to thank Jazz for recording it. I have to thank this opticians I'm working in today. I said, this is the best Wi-Fi in this little cubby hole. Look, I've got my colleagues waving. So it's very unusual, but I felt it was very important. All the healthcare optical industry are coming together in the UK for 100% optical. And I really wanted Stephen to produce this so more people will understand and raise the awareness. So thank you all very much.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Garry, and it's been a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you again. And I hope all goes
education.
Well. 100% optical. Okay. Thank you, Jazz, in the
Appreciate
background.
you. Jazz, thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
All right.
Bless him. Doing the
Bye
tech.
to all.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
The recording's paused.
Okay, my recording is paused. Stephen, thank you.